What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Obviously, the big thing today is the Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars concept art leak that is making its rounds on almost every channel and every social media post. And if you somehow haven't seen it already, I'll link our video down in the description, and at the end of this, we covered all the slides. But we have to do a separate video for what might have been one of the most important revelations in all of that concept art, the reveal of very likely who's to be the next Black Panther. We'll, of course, issue the caveat spoiler warning here because it's concept art. It doesn't mean it's 100% for sure, but at this late in the game, this close to the casting, and with rumors abound over the last month, there's a real likely chance that via a concept art leak unintentionally, we now know who's going to be the next T'Challa in the MCU. We're breaking it all down. Quick reminder, we do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If you're into this kind of content, especially leading up to the next Avengers movies, this is your #1 place to check in. We keep up with all the news as it's breaking and always keep you informed for all the leaks, rumors, official Easter eggs, etc. So again, hit that sub button, leave a comment down below. It supports us as a channel, and I would sincerely appreciate it. Now let's dive into this concept art. Now again, today a bunch of concept art for Avengers Doomsday leaked out, and one of the particular frames was of T'Challa or Black Panther standing out front of what looks like the entrance to Wakanda. Now interestingly enough, two of those concept keys showed him masked in different iterations of his costume, but at least one of them had him unmasked, and the actor that was in the place for the concept keyframe was none other than Damson Idris, Damson Idris. You guys let me know down in the comments, but this is one of the actors that has been rumored to have been cast as T'Challa, or at least had an offer, and this is coming on the back of Industry Insider reports a month ago from Industry Insider Jeff Snyder, the guy who nailed Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom at least 2 months before Marvel confirmed that. He was the one who stated that they were actively trying to cast for a new T'Challa in the MCU, or who would be T'Challa's son that we saw in the post-credit scene of Wakanda Forever, now grown up in an older form. So basically a new T'Challa, but T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa's son. And of course, when Marvel's brass was asked about this, they basically denied it. And we do know Ryan Coogler's actively working on a Black Panther 3 because Denzel Washington was the one who confirmed that Coogler's writing a role from him, and it looks like, by all accounts, he's going to be playing the villain. But now that we actually have a name, one of the most rumored names, this makes a lot of sense for the Avengers Secret Wars storyline, because if you've kept up with the 2015 Jonathan Hickman run, the one that it looks like they're drawing heavily from in this concept art, he is basically the main protagonist, or the guy who's going to lead the charge to eventually defeat Dr. Doom. And there's not really a spoiler warning needed for this because it's pretty much known at this point, but after Doctor Strange ends up dying in that storyline, he leaves 2 gifts for Black Panther, who's accompanied by Namor. One of them is a fully loaded Infinity Gauntlet, which he uses to lead an army of Marvel zombies to help defeat Dr. Doom. The other is a device that allows him to travel the multiverse at will. And so we wondered what Marvel Studios might do to sort of substitute for this character, and the truth is that they don't have to. They literally seeded his son at the end of Wakanda Forever, and as long as they can age him up however they do with the multiverse and how the story goes, they have the T'Challa they need in the lineage of Chadwick Boseman's 616 T'Challa to lead this charge. Now, again, I don't think this is much of a spoiler because people have read Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars. All of the panels from that comic are everywhere online, and we also know Marvel Studios and their shows are not going to go beat for beat from the comics. Their story, they are saying, is extremely radical and challenging. You can bet they have their own spin on it. They're only taking elements from the imagery and the storyline, but now that they're introducing T'Challa for sure in Doomsday, or I basically think a lot of these panels were Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars basically mixed in together. Some of them are Doomsday, but now that we know that they're bringing T'Challa into the fold for the story, I think the fact that they had Damson Idris in those concept keyframes makes it a lot more likely that he is the official MCU Black Panther going forward. Yes, occasionally they will go ahead and use an actor as a placeholder, but again, we are just so late in the game. They are literally starting to film on this, and next month, if they had an idea of who the actor is going to be in these keyframes, it's probably a good chance because, well, that's official. And of course, Marvel Studios would have loved to have held on to this and introduced a new T'Challa, say, on San Diego Comic-Con stage, but the real truth is that the Hollywood trades are definitely going to leak this sooner than later. They're not making it to SDCC at the end of the summer in order to announce that. So as much as I really do feel for this artist who obviously didn't intentionally do this, I also have to question why in the world you're even putting this stuff up on ArtStation in the first place. And even if you thought it was private, it is not hard for some people to bypass that stuff. Just the fact that he was uploading it, basically that's what leads to this. And of course, this is nothing new for Marvel Studios. In fact, I would argue the leaks about Tobey and Andrew that kept coming steadily as if they were on a schedule from a marketing team throughout the entire summer, the whole year of 2021, is what made Spider-Man No Way Home one of the most anticipated and biggest grossing films of all time. So honestly, at the end of the day, I know that the artist probably feels terrible and he may be reprimanded. This may be negative for his career. At the end of the day, these kind of leaks and stuff really push forward the marketing and in a completely free way for Marvel Studios. So no harm, no foul. But of course, Damson Idris getting revealed as the brand new Black Panther is something they probably wanted to hold on to as long as they could, but now we know. Now, on that exact subject, and only because, again, I've been doing this for 7 years, and this is the kind of content that was the bread and butter at the channel around the time of Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Back in 2019, during the summer right after Avengers Endgame came out, we told you guys that Namor would be the villain in Black Panther. That actually came via an outlet called We Got This Covered that seems like they've sort of faded away in the background. At the time, they were a lot more prominent, but everybody called it clickbait and nonsense, and there's no way that we could know who the villain was, but it was true. Then early in 2020, even before the pandemic hit, we started talking about the fact that Spider-Man was going to team up with Tobey and Andrew. Everybody called that clickbait and said it was nonsense, and then a full 2 years later, it came to full fruition. And industry insider, rest in peace, Mikey Sutton, who's now passed away, was one of the first to say that they were going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink and a boatload of money, to make Hugh Jackman's Wolverine come back for Deadpool 3. Everybody called that clickbait in 2019, and lo and behold, it came true. Last year, when Jeff Snyder, someone who was willing to put their name on something on the Hot Mic podcast on YouTube, said that Robert Downey Jr. was coming back as Dr. Doom, Kevin Feige was asked about it within that same month because of a Marvel release, to which he responded, "Look, I don't think we need to do anything like that." And lo and behold, that came true. In fact, I didn't believe that one so much, we never covered it at the channel. The point that I'm making is that this news does get out there, and yeah, not all of it ends up becoming true. Someone said that Owen Wilson was actually going to be playing Kang in Loki Season 1. That was a huge miss. But a lot of the stuff that ends up getting corroborated that comes from the trusted industry insider sources that have built up track records over the last 3 or 4 years, there's a reason channels like mine exist. There's a reason there is a whole rumor mill and a news cycle for Marvel movies in the first place, and it's not because 99% of this stuff is wrong. It's not. So when we were hearing Damson Idris for weeks and weeks and weeks, and people were denying it, saying we couldn't know, and the Marvel Studios is like, we're not casting for T'Challa, well, okay, but this concept art says that you are, and it is Damson Idris. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. Is this the right new Black Panther, and how hyped does this concept art have you? Again, if you missed all of that, we put the frames in a video and broke it all down for you. That will be linked down in the description and at the end of the video. Make sure to check that out. Of course, we're also still giving away PlayStations at the channel for every Marvel drop, TV and film this year. Just be a sub, leave a comment, because it's truly random. More videos you comment on, better chance you have of winning. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me with original music on all platforms under the name All Fires. I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.